And welcome to my channel. This is not clickbait. Don't click off. Paul did lose everything, okay? That is true. He lost everything. I will explain, but it's going to segue. What I got to explain is going to segue into why you're here and why we're talking about Paul and how did he lose everything, okay? All right, so my channel is about bridging two groups of people on the planet together right now. There are people who are going through some hard, tough times on the planet, and there are a group of people who are not. Trust me, there are people right now who are out there surfing, enjoying life like there's nothing else going on in the world. So, what is it that these people know or have experienced to keep them or get them to the top to where they are versus the people who are struggling right now? Okay, so this is what my channel is going to be about. I want the people who were once at a point where they were struggling, people who had gone through really tough times, be it in the area of mental health, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, whichever area in life, financially, that you have gone through, that you were at a really bad place where you lost a lot of things and then you found your way out of that dark place. What did you do? Did you have inspiration within? Did you have a great support unit? Did you come up with a blueprint? Was there a strategy? What was it? And share it with me. Email it to me. I'll put the email there on the screen. Email me so that we can help the Pauls of the world. And we're going to get to Paul. I'll explain it about what happened with Paul, but email it to me and I will take that email and I will read it. I'll read it on my channel and I'll release it to the rest of the world so that your story of inspiration can help others in the world. Okay. If it's not Paul, it can be Paulette, but we can be able to help others by sharing your story. Share with me so that we can get it out there to the rest of the world and we can start paying it forward to other people because they need it. Everybody needs some form of help, some form of inspiration, something to get them out of this rut. And you can help me. You can help me. Okay. And that brings me to Paul. Okay. Now, when I was doing research for my channel right here, I came across Paul's video, okay? And Paul was talking about mental health and he was addressing it to men because Paul is living in Australia, okay? And the reason why Paul was talking about his whole story was it caused him to put him in a place of mental health, okay? Now, let me give you a quick definition of mental health that I came across because I want to share that so we can all understand exactly what Paul is going through. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. And that's according to the CDC. Also, the National Institute of Health states that 57.8 million people suffer with mental health issues. And that's just in America. And we got Paul all the way in Australia talking about his story. Imagine sharing your story of how you got yourself out of your place of darkness, lack of a better word, but how you got yourself out of that place you were in to where you're now bliss or managing very well. Okay. Now, Paul was in a 7-year relationship. And I give you a quick synopsis, but I'm going to attach his video on here because I did write Paul, communicate with him, and he gave me the green light to share his story. Okay. And if you come across this, thank you, Paul. Thank you. And send him some light because his video channel is Camping Down Under. That's the name of it. His YouTube channel is Camping Down Under. So go and give Paul some love. Okay. But Paul was in a 7-year relationship in a household with 5 children. He loved his home. His life partner, she wanted to move to Perth because Perth, to her experience, was a very good place. And so Paul was like, yeah, we can do this, you know. So it took him about a year to find a job there in Perth. He sold his things. He then moved there to set up things for her. And there was a lot of things going on between them at that point, where she broke off the relationship and then she left, leaving him in Perth and not having a place to stay. And he was left in Perth and homeless and camping. So he was telling his story. So again, I would attach and leave it here, but he addressed his situation mostly to men for mental health because of what he was going through. And that's why I was saying this channel is needed. It is needed for people, because people like Paul need that inspiration, that support, that encouraging. They need something at this time to get them through. So when you come across this video, please send me an email so that I can share your story with the Pauls of the world to help everybody. And that's what we're supposed to be doing anyway, paying it forward. Paying it forward. So check out this video from Paul, okay? And leave me a comment, a like, and subscribe so you can be a part of this family and seeing how far we're going to go, because we are, with your help, okay? All right, thank you for stopping by. Watch the video.
This is another one of those really hard videos for me to film. It's not easy talking about my personal life and the things that are going wrong in my life. People just like to see the highlights on social media. That's what social media is about. They just see a highlights reel of how perfect your life is, but it's really not. No one's is. So I thought it was important for me to share this video just to, again, show that it's okay to talk about your issues, that you don't have to bottle them up. Don't feel embarrassed about opening up and talking to someone. We all need help sometimes. Going by my latest few videos, since I've travelled over here, my life does look pretty perfect on YouTube. But what I haven't shared with anyone is I've actually lost everything. I'm here on my own, 3,500 k's away from everybody I care about. And it's really not easy. I don't know how much more I can take, how many more hits I can take before that's it. Yeah, I've pretty much hit rock bottom. Back home in the Riverland, South Australia, life was pretty good. I had a partner, been with her for 7 years. She had 5 kids. We all got along pretty well. I had my own son, Ben, plus 2 other kids, which, from my even harder video that I filmed earlier, up in the corner, you'll see that ended really badly. There was DNA testing and everything to see if the kids are even mine. That was an extremely hard video to make, but also I thought it was important to make that video for men's mental health, to speak out about your issues. So if you haven't watched this one, check that one out first and then come back to this one. Yeah, life was pretty good. We had a beautiful house out of town, 4-bedroom house, only $350 a week. Huge block, it was awesome. I filmed a lot of my videos at that house. It was the best house I've ever lived in, I loved it. Had a good relationship, everything else. For a couple of years we've been tossing up moving to Perth. My ex-partner had lived here previously and she loved it. So 2 years ago we come across for the 4-wheel drive show. We come right across, went down to Esperance and followed the coast whole way around to Perth. And after visiting all the beaches along the way, I pretty much made up my mind that this is where we wanted to move. She wanted me back desperately as well. I did everything I could to make it happen over that past year. So I sold pretty much everything I owned. I started applying for jobs straight away because I had to have a job before I come over here. I didn't want to be here without a job. I wouldn't be able to live. So I tried for nearly a year to find a job, and with no success at all. And then finally, August last year, I finally had an offer for another Toyota dealership. I've worked for Toyota for the last 7 years, so it was a perfect opportunity. Another Toyota dealership offered me an extra strip fitting job, which I was already doing. So it was a perfect fit. Trouble was, my partner at the time, her daughter was having a baby and was due in 3 months' time. So my ex-partner asked me if I'd give it 3 months before moving over here. And it was a really tough decision because I'd been trying for a year already to get a job. No luck at all. Hundreds of jobs I'd tried for. So this is the only job, and I knew they wouldn't hold a job for me for 3 months. So we sort of come to an agreement that, look, I'll come over first, I'll get the job. And then we knew there was a housing crisis over here as well. So it was going to be extremely hard. It could take a year, 2 years to even find a house that's that bad over here. So, and to even be able to look through a house, you have to be here in person for someone to look through it before you can even apply for the house. So we couldn't just apply for houses back in South Australia. We had to be here. So no point both of us being homeless over here. So she continued her job at Toyota she had over there as well, and I moved over here. What I didn't share, she really wasn't happy that I didn't give her those 3 months, which is understandable. 3 months isn't a big thing. I could have easily done it. That's half my fault. So I am to blame for that, and sort of the breakdown of our relationship, which I haven't shared with anyone. So I do take responsibility for my actions. If I could go back and do it all again, I would have done things differently and waited those 3 months, and we'd all be over here right now. But yeah, not long after being over here, we hardly talked, and it wasn't long after that that she ended it, and found someone else, which I don't blame her. She wasn't happy that I was over here. I messed up. I also put the channel above my family as well, my partner, her kids, and my own son, which I shouldn't have done. This is only a hobby for me. It's not a full-time job. That's why now I make sure the channel is second priority. I film every couple of weeks now, and I go out, and every second week I'll film a video, and the week after that I'll film nothing at all. I'll take no cameras with me, just go out and enjoy the outdoors with no distractions of cameras at all, because it was taking over my life. I hardly get any views on my channel, so what's the point of putting 100% of my effort into the channel when it's not going to be ever full-time. It's just a hobby. So I have to treat it like that. Before my ex-partner decided not to come over here, her 5 kids were going to come over here as well. We're all going to come over together and get a house together. They decided they weren't coming. They were the first to back out of the idea. And that's half the reason my ex-partner decided not to come, because she didn't want to leave her kids, which is understandable as well. So the fact that I left her and not gave her the 3 months, and then her kids not wanting to come as well, she backed out. So I was over here on my own, but I still had my son coming over, which I was excited for. At least I had my son coming over. We'd be together again. And that's all I've been looking for. That's what's kept me going this last few months, is knowing my son is going to come over here. My son Ben has been really excited about coming over here. The thing that's made it hard though, the original plan was I was coming over with my partner. We were going to get a house together because we knew the housing here was ridiculously priced. We knew it'd be up for at least $600 a week, and that was the plan. But since she backed out, her kids backed out, I was stuck. I was living out of my Hilux. For 2 months I lived out of the Hilux because I couldn't afford a place of my own. I eventually found a room I could rent, but I'm stuck in this situation now. I've moved 3,500 k's away, stuck renting a room, not being able to afford a house on my own anymore. So how do I get my son over here? I honestly don't know what to do. I've got myself completely stuck where I cannot even bring my son over here and provide him a house. He has a disability, so he's on the NDIS, so he doesn't get a lot of money, so he can't really help contribute too much into rent and everything else. It's basically up to me to support my son. And how can I do that when you can't afford to even live yourself? I can't even afford a house of my own. I don't know what to do. He's terrified of coming over here and being unstable, not knowing if we have a house over our head or not. Currently he's staying with one of my mates who, back in the day when I was around 18 years old, I let him stay with me for 2 years to help him out, and now he's returning the favour by helping my son live with him for a couple of months until we found a house. I've also got a dilemma. The place I'm staying right now, the lady I'm staying with, in a couple of months' time, she's doing up her bus. She wants to travel Australia as well, which I don't blame her. Everyone wants to do that now. It's an awesome thing to do. But that means in a couple of months' time, I might be homeless again. So I just don't know what to do. I don't know, how much more I can take. I've lost everything and now I might be homeless again. Sure, I might be able to find another room to rent, but that's still not going to help my son come over. He's rang me the other day and told me that he doesn't want to come over, and that killed me. That was all I was looking forward to. It was, I didn't have a partner coming over anymore. At least I had my son coming over. I had something to look forward to, a positive future. And now he doesn't even want to come over and be with me. And I can't tell you how that makes me feel.